Welcome back to Propology 101. And the other day, I was going through my Star Wars visual dictionary and I came across the bounty hunter section. And I was reminded about IG-88's blaster rifle. IG-88 in that scene is holding a long blaster rifle in one hand and a E11 stunt in the other hand. And I was like, wow, we just covered a blaster that was actually based on the exact same gun that IG-88's blaster was based on, and that is the STG-44, the Sturmgewehr. IG-88's blaster actually is not, well, it's a casting, just like the A280 Hoth is, but what IG-88's blaster really is a modified A280. It's all mocked up as an A280, and then they changed it around to make it an IG-88 blaster. And this blaster that IG-88 carries is called the DLT-20A. Now, there's a few things they did to the body. Well, there's a few things that are right away noticeable, but one thing I wanted to talk about first is this section of the blaster right here. They actually added on to it. They just, I don't know what they did, if they just made a piece of wood that matched this contour and glued it on, but they extended this section and it's identical to this shape here. Now, this is where the buttstock hooks in on the real gun, and on the A280s, there's a tube that comes out and it has a wooden buttstock on the end of it. This, they extended it out and they put a buttstock. I don't know if this is a found thing or a buttstock that they made, but it's very triangular shaped. And it's very similar to the one we would see on the Endor A280. It has a very similar triangular shaped buttstock. But anyway, that's what they did. They extended this area and then stuck that buttstock on it. And the next thing they did, and I'm not 100% sure how they did this, there's one of two ways they could have done it, is they just chopped all this off, or, because what they ended up doing is they added a barrel to the blaster, and the barrel they added is a Browning 1919 30 cal machine gun barrel. Now, there's two ways they could have put it on there. And I have a theory on both ways, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Now, they obviously cut the end off to lose the front sight, and they slid the barrel over, but they sliced the barrel so it would slide along in here and then somehow attached it. I can't see a very good like screws or anything in it. That's one way of doing it, is they cut the barrel and slid the barrel up on here. Or they cut the blaster like this and slid the barrel up, but I believe there is something inside the barrel. So if they did cut this area off, they attached another barrel inside, and this could give us an idea of how they may have attached it. They could have had an inner barrel to simulate a real rifle barrel inside the tube, and then the unknown, we don't know what the muzzle is on the end, but that could have screwed up and held everything together. So that's two possibilities of how it was done. But this area definitely is covered up. Another modification they did is they rounded off the bottom of the mag well. This area is rounded off. And they added some greeblies down here, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. That's like the main modifications they did. They extended the back, put a buttstock on, changed out the barrel, whether they cut all this off or if they sliced the barrel and slid it on. But one thing is still visible is the end of the gas block right here, and all of this right here, this whole top section is still visible, and the barrel sits right underneath it. As far as the scope goes, it's the exact same scope as the A280 Hoth. That's pretty much, it was cast with the blaster, so that's not changed at all. So you'll see that same center point scope going into a weird custom front end. Now, I did find, in some research, I found more pictures of the A280, and it turns out there are two, I'm not going to say styles. These two scopes are almost identical, but there is a little bit of a change on some of them right here in the front, down low. One of them has a leg that goes all the way forward, matching the leg that goes back that actually clamps in and you screw into this part of the blaster, which holds it together. It has a similar leg that goes to the front, and the other one has a straight up and down, like a wedge shape that goes down there. That's a minor difference, but I found more pictures of A280s, and there's two little differences in the scopes they used. And probably one prop maker was making one set of A280s and another guy's making another set of A280s, and they each did it just a little bit different. It's no big deal, but I didn't notice that. I thought I'd add that instead of doing a study notes on it. So let's talk about Greeblies. It has the dual pistons from the Revell Visible Engine Kit 67 and 68 on the left and the right-hand side. They're right here. It also has that unknown Greebly that sits up here, that tube-type Greebly, that's sitting up here. It also has that. But what it is missing that the A280 has, but the DLT-20A does not have, is the motor coil covers here. That's gone. And it's gone basically because I think they did body work to tie that section, that extension in here. They sanded and cleaned this up. And if you look really close at the blaster, you can almost see all the new pieces compared to the old pieces, because all the old pieces were cast on it. So when they changed this area is all nice and smooth and sanded and primed, and probably all kinds of nice stuff's done to it. The buttstock is all nice and not crunchy like the rest of the blaster. The barrel is perfect. It's actually a real barrel. So it's not a casting or anything. So it's nice and beautiful and perfect. And some of the other Greeblies that are on it are also nice and sharp and clean compared to the rest of the blaster, which is a kind of a crude fiberglass casting. So when you look at it and you start noticing this area is like, ooh, you know, even the Greeblies are kind of, they're kind of crunchy. But you look at the barrel, it's nice and smooth and perfect. You look at the back, it's nice and smooth and perfect. So that's a perfect indicator that this was a reused A280, or maybe just an A280, casting of an A280 that never was a Hoth blaster, but they modified it right away for this extra character IG-88's blaster. So on this extension, we've got a Greebly that we don't know what it is, but we've talked about it before. This is a Greebly that's off the buttstock of the Return of the Jedi EE3, Boba Fett's EE3. And there's two of them, one on the left and one on the right, but on the DLT-20A, it sits right here with that extension. And going back on the extension, all the way to that triangular buttstock, we find another part we've actually talked about before, and that part was originally, when we talked about it, was on the indoor electro binoculars. It's combined with another part, but it's the harmonic balancer off the Revell engine kit, and that's part number 107 from the Revell Visible Engine Kit. That is on the left and right-hand side of the buttstock. Now, we're going to get into the Greeblies. We don't know what they are. Like I said before, they rounded the magazine well off and also flattened it because there's a little bit of a bump on that magazine well. They flattened that out and they made this area nice and flat. And they put a round Greebly, and I think the reason why they rounded the bottom of this off is so that would match the contour of that round Greebly. It looks like that Greebly is probably made of two pieces, but it's kind of a base and a cone shape with some cutouts in it. We don't know what it is. Cool looking parts, but we don't know what it is. And that is right here. The other unknown Greebly is down here. And they filled in with this rounded off. They placed a Greebly down here on the bottom that's actually right in line with the bottom of the trigger guard, and it goes straight all the way to the front of the magwell. That's also a part we don't know what it is. There's never been a good angle to really see what that is or get an idea of what it is. And a lot of these things may be something we're already aware of, but we kind of know what they look like, but we haven't got a good enough look to figure out what they are. And that is pretty much everything they did to create IG-88's DLT-20A. Join us again when we pull out another prop, tear it down, and see what it's made of.